Dude,
What's up, Shane?
I was right, man. Obama was a time traveling jumper, man.
It was always written on the walls, man. We all knew.
I knew it. Oh, actually, you helped me solve that case. You helped me with
Well,
the Obama being the jumper. Jump through.
Joe Root, we couldn't have done it without Tim Taylor and Grant Cameron. So, shout out, shout out to Grant Cameron and his jump room story.
Yeah, you know what? Shout out to hey Nora. Did you not read what was up there? This is definitely not a room for Nora. Or wait, you're definitely not Nora. You're allowed in here.
Oh wait, was Nora the one I saw? Somebody was. I don't know who that person is, but I saw some memes going around of this person, not Nora, and they were like making fun of, I guess, Grush for not something about this whole hotel room. This thing doesn't make sense to me. First of all, as someone who's traveled, professionally, fuck you, pay for my travel 100% all the time, all day, every day. I don't give a shit. I will not pay for something, and I don't care if disclosure was on the road for what. No way. Corporate is paying for this. Whip out the company card, all right, and you can get me to DC. Like I'm totally on my Rihanna kick. Like fucking pay me what you owe me, man. Like don't act like you forgot. Like Grush is the fucking man. Like let's pay for him to go places. All right. Like and this there is obviously some level of miscommunication here. Like I don't think he was like guys, I'm not coming because of the plane ticket. Like obviously this is and the fact that people would run with it too kind of gets me a little upset, but not that upset.
So definitely not Nora. Uh, you're definitely not Nora or me. So that's good to know.
You know what bothers the hell out of me is the fact that it's the United States government. She's a fucking senator. She knows that that doesn't work that way. He would be getting per diem. Hell no. It shouldn't work that way for numerous reasons. Matter of fact, that's why this whole arrow shit sucked. Me and when I was at the Roswell Daily Record, I called it. This shit was blue book. There was no system in place for people to get as a whistleblower. There was no number to call. Arrow was saying we need to have referrals, but no one was being referred. It's a fucking shit show. So I think it sounds like she was playing on our side because that's ridiculous. He's a goddamn whistleblower about to blow the. What the fuck is that, man? I literally got per diem to go get my nuts clipped. That makes no sense.
I think there's some sort of left hand not talking to the right hand scenario going on here. Like I feel like Gillibrand is getting this information from a staffer who is not fully aware of the details. Like that's what I'm again. So I don't want to like knock Gillibrand, and obviously don't want to knock
Hey,
Grush, but I think it's a little. I think there's obviously some confusion going on right
well,
now.
I did look it up. There actually is some logic to it because I was wondering what the hell, but there apparently is a rule for Congress that if you are a subpoenaed witness, you get your expenses paid. But if you are not, if you're a volunteer witness, you don't, and it's just a rule they have to follow. So I don't think it was anything malicious. I think it was just a technical thing.
But can't they
Yo,
can't they subpoena him? Just I'm pretty positive. Like a lot of times, like in the military, they'll go through that motion anyway, even though it's not a negative thing. Subpoenaing somebody's not necessary, so that they get covered for that. It just tells me that they're not putting the effort in because they could think about that. United States senators saying, "We sorry, we can't get the money for your hotel." Are you fucking kidding, dude? I know people who aren't senators that are in the government who would find a loophole, figure out a way to get them. They used to do that
Well,
shit
maybe
for
what they
us.
should have she should have done is had, I mean, to that point, to have her staff look for a way to make that happen, right? But I don't know. Sounds like something was missed.
I just want to say if UFO Twitter can rally for UFO Shane, uh, I think we could rally for Crush.
Speaking of people who need some help, man,
Hmm.
I literally just broke my $800 mixing board. So if you guys could help a guy out, I'd appreciate it.
I'm not buying you
Oh,
shit.
what?
Fuck you.
I thought, wait, that's definitely not Nora because she sounded too sweet.
He could just ask Melon or Corbell to pay for it. I know they got the dough. I mean, Melon's not spending it on loafers, that's for sure.
That definitely doesn't sound like Nora.
Nope, her hormones must be all out of whack because she's extra mean. You got
Yeah, she refuses to follow me so I can send her emojis. I don't know what.
I already followed you, you retarded bitch.
Ah,
Damn.
Definitely
okay.
not Nora.
Thank you.
Hey Nora, welcome back. What do you think about what do you think about the fact that you're a hybrid and that your child's probably going to be a quarter more hybrid, and maybe a special one at that?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. As long as it doesn't come out looking like Tupacabra's new profile picture, I'll be alright.
Well, don't worry, you're going to have at least probably a reptile. Reptile, maybe
Yo, what
palladium.
the fuck is up with that pic though? Is that a cry for help, Tupa? Like, what's going on, bro? Like, I'm even like looking
Some
at you in a space right
intervention.
now. Like, you're making me uncomfortable just being here.
It's unsettling, isn't
That's
it?
what she said usually to me.
Are you struggling? We're here for you.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor, retweet the space, guys. We'll get more people in here and stop acting like Nora. Let's talk about UFOs. I know she doesn't believe, but then again, she's part of the Collins elite, so disregard.
Doug Coe.
So when did you get back, Nora? Not that we care, but when did you get back?
This morning.
Well, welcome back. Have you been keeping up on the UFO stuff, or did you just write it off?
I had to jump on when I saw that Gresh couldn't afford a flight in a hotel, and I had to join in on the ridiculousness.
That's
I'm
not
speak
Grush.
broke, Grush.
He can afford it. I think it's more of the point of the matter, right? You're not. If it's me.
Oh, is it the
No,
principal?
that's not
Look,
cool.
Is it the principal?
dude, if it's me, I'm serious. If it's me and I'm sitting there, oh yeah, we're taking this seriously. We're gonna broach this shit, and then they tell me, hey man, you got to pay for your $70 hotel and your $400 ticket though.
But is it about your wallet or is it about disclosure?
No, it's about disclosure, but that's my point. They're obviously not taking it seriously. If you were taking it
I mean, he
seriously,
could just show up and send her an invoice later.
send
But
that info.
but you're totally right. But isn't that like the better tactic if you're trying to keep the information going? Like
Damn you, info.
that's like
He wanted to say he got flown out by Senator Gillibrand.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like you call your drug dealer and you ask for him to do every single part of your deal. And yeah, I hear you, but if you really want to get your drugs, you just make it happen and you get there. And so Grush,
see, I think it's the
Well,
opposite.
he's running right now. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I-
He's running right now as we
Cosmic
speak
Judas
to
course posted that run.
What I'm saying is this. I think it's the opposite. I think reverse what you just said sticks with them, right? Show me your fuck. Literally, all he's done is take hit after
That
hit.
doesn't.
He's getting shit out of
If
this.
he has
we can
time to
see
go
who's been a drug
hiking with
dealer,
Jesse
who's been a drug
Michaels, he
buyer
has
here.
time to go to a
Yes,
skiff.
and if all those dudes like Jesse Michaels and all that, like if my crew, if I called them and I needed to travel right now, guess what? They're gonna give me money to travel. And so
Yeah, but see, you're missing my
I'm
point.
totally hearing your
What I'm
point.
saying is this. You're right. Everyone in this room, this is how serious we take it. Everyone in this room right now
Kimball,
would
this
throw
is your
money down.
moment.
Everyone in the room would throw money. But again, how is it that we're willing to throw money, but senators and the fucking government, who's the ones hiding this shit, who also, hey, I'm a friend of disclosure. Points, but we're not going to pay.
It
They
could
don't give a
also
fuck.
just be Gillibrand being an asshole and just like
No,
saying
I think
shit to
she's
just
playing the
embarrass
role
them.
she needs to play as I'm a friend of disclosure. But again, the gatekeepers got their hands in everybody.
Yo, you don't want to
Nora.
be the so Congress are a bunch of
The
clowns.
gatekeepers have their hands in you, Nora.
First of all,
All up in Gillibrand is the gatekeeper's
those
hands.
clients,
Yeah.
those Congress is a bunch of
Like a
clowns.
puppet.
Yeah, the gatekeepers have that happening, stoned. They're like, oh, you're just 2 centimeters dilated.
It's literally somebody doesn't want to be the person that
Not gatekeeping for long.
they
I think this way.
expense.
If you're doing something like that, right, you are technically doing a job for the government because the whole point, the government's not, it's for the people. And if you're a whistleblower, you're working for the
It
people.
depends.
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I hate you,
I'm
info.
sorry because it's. But yeah, go ahead. You're
You're
right.
all right,
You're
dude.
right.
You're all right. It's okay. I'm just saying, if I'm going to be I'm not asking for money. He never did. But when you're this far along and all you've done is give, and they're moving a snail's pace, they're still moving, but a snail's pace, I starting to think, because some of the stuff that Gillibrand says, it's like, hey, I'm a friend, but then, oops, sorry, you're my secret girlfriend. It's all about looking good in front of the camera, but
you're
to sit there and say that's the thing holding disclosure because you as a senator can't figure out how to get him paid to
She
get
made it
here.
clear he's the side piece, huh?
nobody wants to be the one that has the UFO guy flight on their expenses. But also, like, in reality, everything you said is very real, right? But why wasn't he aware of that if he worked for them? So, like, I'm not even in the government. It's just like my education. And I would even be able to assess that these people are dragging this out. A thinly sliced piece of ham, just little thin, paper thin slices over a span of centuries, right? What was he expecting? And so now, if you got approved, like, for it, like, it's just like if you're the last one with the check at the table, like, take care of your people. And you just said the word people. So Grush's people now are all of the people in this conversation on that hashtag because he wanted to take on that role. So now if you're in that seat, like if this was me, you don't, like, yeah, you're totally right, bro. You could totally do the human to human, like, fuck you, my guy, you pay my flight, right? But this isn't about that anymore, dude. This is like if I was holding the keys to a UFO, and then this is my chance to get in the fucking giant glass box, and then they're like, "Yo, but you gotta fly here yourself." Fuck it, bro. Let's go. You're gonna give me a microphone. Let's go. But it's really weird, dude, to just hold it up and be like, "Nah, she ain't fucking paying. I'm not doing it." It's really right here. That's cool for any other discussion. But if you said aliens were captured and UFOs, and I know where to get them, and you're holding that up, that's really questionable in any version of discussion.
Maybe he just never expected it to actually happen, and now he's like, ah, shit, I gotta show up.
You're totally right, because maybe now he's scared. Maybe, dude. But again, he
Right, Jeff.
did do a tour, a podcast tour.
I was
Sorry.
just gonna say I can't hear Info Cipher, so I'm gonna drop down, and I didn't want to interrupt him. So, but I'm gonna come back up.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, bitch.
She is.
God, she's so mean. What the fuck?
That's definitely not Nora.
That's not the Nora I know.
No, Nora I know is loving and just does nothing but mock the shit out of me. Makes me cry. What's up? Was that Kimball?
No, this is UFO intros. What's
Oh,
up,
my
dude?
bad.
Oh god, who invited this guy?
Definitely
know.
not Kimball.
I don't like Kimball, so UFO's intros is welcome.
UFO imbles.
So, guys, now that I'm like up on this pedestal as an experiencer, I am like really wanting to know what's all behind this Grush shit. But I actually will be shocked at this point if whatever he could reveal was something like tangible that would actually link to like the other realm that all this bullshit's connected to. And I know that sounds woo and crazy and elitist, and that's fine.
Hey,
Well, you'll just have to wait until Ross Coulthart tells us in like 2 to 3 weeks on his next special.
Like,
nope,
there's
I'm gonna
not
tell you,
anything
look,
encased in a building that's going to be
I'm
able
gonna
to
tell you
tell
right
us.
now, UFO intros. I'm gonna tell you right now. So David was getting his information from other places. What if I think I could say this? I talked to individuals that have own eyes seen said tech. So what does that change it? I've talked to individuals. It's not secondhand on that kind of shit. Yeah, no shit. Yep, me slap dick.
I believe it. No, I want it.
You believe I'm a slap
dick?
dick? You're a jerk.
I didn't even understand what you just said.
No, of course you didn't. Go ahead, B. Get out of here. Wait, no, I'm sorry. It's Kim. It's Penny. I'm sorry, Penny.
That's okay. No, Ben. B, you say.
She wants you to go, Penny.
Okay. It was just saying, I think whilst all of this is going on, there's something else maneuvering in the background. I think there's probably things being put in place by Gillibrand that covers her ass. What's that expression where you was it plausible deniability on
Yes.
something?
Yes.
And I also think that David Grush is having to maneuver because he's having to cover his ass in different ways. And I think he's probably protecting what he's doing next. So this delay is probably orchestrated by both of them.
Actually, that's a good point. Actually, it is probably game theory. They're literally trying to get the most out of what they. I don't know that all the people that say they're on board are really on board. Aside for they want points, but doesn't mean they won't write it out because they see the points are more on that end. But that's cool. We want that. We know they're politicians. They don't give a shit about anything but being reelected. This will get them that. So we keep going with that, right? I think so. So Penny had a good point too. I also think that a lot of it's charade, right? Because again, this has stigma. So what's up, B?
Thanks for hosting this space, man. Hey, I threw up into your nest the audio from the Ask a Poll with Gillibrand. When I read the transcript, it reads it reads different than the way it sounds, and I picked up a couple of things on, like, it sounded like she was caught off guard. She also said that he was had an experience in California. There's just a couple of things that made me think that she was just caught off guard and really didn't answer correctly. That could also be the case. He could have just been messed up.
Who's up next?
It was UFO intros.
OpenEye.
Oh, yeah, OpenEye was knocked out. So Neil.
Oh, hey, yeah. I wanted to say hello, darkness, my old friend. Time to be let loose if you're listening.
Damn.
Yeah. I learned things every day about some stuff, and last night I was in my van. I looked out and I saw this mirror of reflection. I said, "What the hell is that? A UFO or something?" And it was like glowing. And as I looked at it, I remember that was the water. It was a pool of water that was glowing like magical. I don't know if it's something in the water or, what the deal is. And then I walked up today. I found a bigger pool that's even bigger than that. And tonight I'm going to try to film it. I don't know if it's going to come out. I don't know if it would even show in the film, but I'm going to try it because I was trying to aim my camera at it and it wasn't showing. It wasn't lighting up. It wasn't, So I wish I had somebody over here to look at it and see if they could see the same thing. And it's the weird thing is this stuff is magical, like a magical mirror pool, and it was freaky. I never seen something like this before. And it's on the Magic Mountain, the mountain beyond the veil that I'm at right now doing research here. I found a couple of things, and so I'm gonna try to film it, or either film it, video it, take pictures of it, and see if it shows up on camera.
Hey, thanks for talking about that. Actually, why don't you tell Nora, give her your address? She'll come right the fuck down there, dude. She's crazy like that. But real quick, hey, so any of my co-hosts, if you have people blocked, and can we unblock it for the space and just
Yes,
let's
sir.
think. I appreciate it, man. Israel, the way the world's going, let's show some fucking peace, man. And then if you want afterwards, block them. I don't give a shit. But for now, let's let them hear
Guys,
about all this
what's
cool shit.
Ray's handle, real quick? What's her handle?
Carlos is trying to get in. Whoever may have him blocked, just so you know.
What?
Because I brought
So
I haven't brought you guys up, no problem. We all have people like that. I don't like Nora, but she changes fucking accounts. So what do you do?
I can unblock Carlos too, but I'm a weasel, so.
Okay. Please
Well,
unblock
if you could
Carlos.
stop being a weasel and unblock everyone, thanks.
What are their handles? Send
I'm
me
the
their
weasel
handles.
because the weasel
Okay,
knows
I'll
fuck.
send you Carlos real quick. Go ahead, Info.
Man, at this point, I have no idea what I was going to talk about. And I'm just here to enjoy everyone. So, Shabbat Shalom.
Did you want to talk about how you're going to help OpenEye with his portal pictures?
Dude, OpenEye's pictures are way too much for me to handle. And I don't know how to do that stuff.
I saw some excellent corn people recently, and I think whoever made that should send it to OpenEye.
Well, the thing is, if I try to do it on film and it doesn't show up on film, what's the deal? I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of questions like, why can I see it, and then the camera can't show it? You know, that's what's going to be so weird. The thing is,
That's
if I
an
had
I
a
can
They
tell
excellent
you.
have control
question.
over
I
everything.
can tell you.
Infrared. Get an infrared camera. Start from there.
yeah, if I had another person with me, they could say, "Hey, I don't see shit," you know. And the damn thing was glowing. Like, what the fuck? It was like the waters were glowing, like you know. But I know it's the reflection of the moon. The moon's doing it, you know. It has to do it. I mean, yeah, it is. And then I found a bigger one. Uh, yeah, it's really crazy up here, y'all. Hey, if y'all ever want to come to Mount Whitney, I'm doing research before it gets cold. It's a secret spot, and it's really special place up here too.
Could I meet
Major.
up with you there, Neil? If I came
Do,
alone?
do we have to pay for our own flight and hotel, or do you cover that?
If not, you're done.
No, no, I'm not rich. I mean, I do all my field research, or I use my money, my gas. I mean, if you're going to drive up here,
Neil,
you
I can
know,
come. I'm super, super rich, so I can come. All that. Do you want to change the name of the space to The Return of Definitely Not Nora?
In the rich.
I already tried that. I said definitely not Nora's space, and actually, less people showed up. So keep her name off it. We'll have more people. I already know that shit. For
all
real.
right, who was saying they would come? Is that UFO?
No, that'd
The
be definitely not Nora.
first thing that was said to Nora, as somebody acknowledged her in a space, is, "I saw that meme that you put out." I'm like, oh, targeted. Not even
So hey,
24 hours back.
I was gonna say hi, but they left, I think.
hey, do me a favor,
Well,
guys. Hold on.
whoever comes, y'all could actually see the dinosaur dog. It looks bigger than it's on the picture. Y'all, it's real big. I looked at it. I says, "Damn,
Is
man,
this a
this
new
thing is
photo, or is
bigger
it the
than I."
same one from last year?
But yeah, I'm gonna put the picture of the dinosaur dog. But it was that intro said he could come.
Yeah.
UFO intros? Yeah, he's down.
Okay, well, I'm trying to do a documentary. Everybody that's involved is gonna be part of the documentary, but I want to do like a AI like cartoon of us. You know, it's not gonna be. You know, it's gonna be about us. You know, probably use the same voice and stuff. But I want to do like a story about the documentary where it's gonna be like cartoon characters, like
Like the Gorillas band?
No, no, we're gonna be like some, what's that dude did, the Tomb Raiders, stuff like that.
Indiana
Angelina
Jones?
Jolie.
It's gonna be like, but
Hey,
yeah,
wait up. Since you mentioned Tomb Raider and you're talking about relic hunters, what do you guys think about the fact that if we got NGOs that are taking reverse engineered tech seriously, and they know it exists because they have shit that could, let's say, for example, take down the MH370 or something along those lines, do you think they'd stop there, or they'd also start looking for megaliths, underground pyramids, Astral's house?
The same people wouldn't.
The golden plates.
I tell you
Huh?
what, when y'all see the interior, okay, the interior of the mountain of the Veil here, it's fucking crazy shit going on here, y'all. And we need a lot of people foot on the boots.
Neil.
We need like 7 people,
Yeah,
or maybe more,
I just
or
got a quick
20 people.
question. Is that
Go,
cool, Neil,
bro.
if I ask you a quick one? Just a quick one, man. What the hell are you talking about? Like, what do you like? What is? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, what are we talking about here? I'm trying to build a mental image of this, and it's like,
Talking about the megalithic structures that look like giant people and animals, but they're like stone now.
oh, like the
God, keep
dinosaur
up.
dog picture you shared, the dinosaur dog, and it's like a rock structure.
Yeah. Well, it's bigger than the photograph, y'all. It's real
Okay,
big.
okay. Well, what's the mountain of the veil or the veil? What
Well,
is that?
that's where the Jedi. They have a European person with a hood on his head. He looks like a Jedi, clean shaven. He doesn't have a beard or nothing. He's like shaved,
Which is
and
Scott
he got
Andrews.
they have the good aliens behind him, but the bad alien is at the right of the dude, and the
You
one with
literally just
the
described Astral's picture and then Chupacabra next to it.
All right, hold up, Neil. Okay, we're gonna reset real quick. Away from the demon dog for a second, guys. Let's
Dinosaur
talk
dog.
about, since Nora mentioned megaliths a second ago. I think she did. Somebody did. So if you guys have any links or anything like that to, say, places in Alaska or Antarctica, any place that you know of or you've come across a megalith, anything like that. Have you guys ever come across anything that talks about the Arctic? I hear that's a pretty happening place, actually, and I hear that's kind of where that craft that was shot down in Alaska was coming from, because that's where the base was, right?
There's a few reasons the Arctic is hype, and one is also because it's like when that all melts, that's strategically a military, like just the perfect way to get everywhere. And I think that's getting slept on in a lot of conversations. But also, when it melts, what's under there is a real conversation too. But when it melts, then we really have World War III.
Hey, did you guys get the message I sent you, the two co-hosts about Carlos? That was his.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All
No,
that. Do you give would you give more precedent to Antarctica or the Arctic, like the North or the South Pole?
North.
Tell Carlos he's blocking me, so that might be the issue.
Yeah, North. I'll tell him, but North right now, because everybody knows shit's happening down in the Arctic. Matter of fact, there's a reason there's treaties down there. There's so much shit down there. It's like, hey, stop looking. We know it's here. So the different countries got their spots, right? No one's
Well,
looking
there
at the
isn't.
North.
There's nothing down there but ice.
There's no. God
Antarctica?
damn you, Nora. You know what? I kind of liked it when Twitter was Nora free, right?
Whatever.
So,
Your mom's a
so
megalith.
originally you were talking.
What you cooking?
So
Get out of here. I'm gonna go tell her, Mom. I live with my mom now, Nora, so I will tell her.
So at first you were talking about the North Pole.
Yes. So the North Pole. Gosh, I hate having Nick West's daughter Nora in here. So my point is, I think the North Pole is a lot more happening. No one's looking up there, and all the things we think about down there are probably there as well. But I also probably imagine we've got a lot more going on as far as experiments and shit that no one's looking for.
That's a good point.
Santa.
Well, what about like the ancient Celtic? Could they would have, I don't know, just shooting the shit here. They could have ended up way north, right, or doing wild shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so this is what's wild, man. You go to Antarctica. I don't know shit about the Arctic. We don't hear shit, but the impressions I get is we're not the only country that knows it, but underground megalith shit like that's just everywhere, right down there.
Yeah.
Like, really, that's the reason there was a rush in treaties, because everyone was trying to get a piece. So imagine where else this shit's at. And it could be, or it could be a breakaway civilization.
I will actually, because you are saying exactly what I thought you were, and yeah, I'm going to stick to my guns. They're more secretive internationally about the North Pole and the goings on there militaristically for every country, because once the ice melts, the whole shit's going to get weird. And it's melting. It's not an Al Gore conversation. It's a real topic for military industrial complex to be prepared. So there's literally submarines just waiting with a boundary of ice.
Hell yes.
I agree down south. I agree for Antarctica, where that has a huge lure of mystery and potential for monoliths, only because you have South America and a lot of I don't know, it's the southern hemisphere where we have more monoliths, right? Historically. But the North, they're quiet about the North because everybody's waiting like silent wolves, man. All of us. It's a new battlefield.
I was reading an article or just like a thing today about how people were remote viewing like underneath the Sphinx, and they basically were like seeing spaceships and shit underneath there.
Oh,
I wish I didn't get deleted so much. Remember that on my last account, I found a good remote view where a guy ended up under. It was in the CIA library, and he ended up seeing a orb that was lighting different colors, and he reported he felt like it was messing with him. And now I got to go back and find that. He thought he was deep underground.
Yeah, someone should probably clip Nora's comeback at me. That was pretty funny. Your mom's a megalith. You're an asshole. Anyway, I agree with the North. I also think that shit like man, I hate
Cut
saying,
out all that.
What's that? I cut out.
You cut out, yeah, for me at least.
Well, thanks for interrupting me. No, I did cut out. What was I gonna say, bro? Doesn't matter. Retweet the space, and we'll start talking about anything. Actually, Astral, I brought your name up today. I was talking about how your remote viewing spaces could be utilized for good shit, or not like saving kitties, but try to attempt cool shit, or try to use the amount of people to see if you can get any kind of data from it.
Shit, we're remote viewing the skiff on Thursday. Shout out.
Nice.
I bet you it's got protection.
Wait, you're gonna remote view the skiff that
Now
day?
I'm like nervous and shit since I said that.
Imagine you just
Hey, Astro,
It's just them like fighting over the luncheon. They're like, "Who ordered this?"
imagine everybody just sees
hey,
Jimmy
Astro,
Dangerson in a chair.
once you get some people to remote view the secret mountain that I'm at, and I want to see the photographs, because you know what? I might actually find it. If I see what they're seeing, and it's like a magical thing, whatever, like an invisible thing or whatever, and it's like, oh shit, and then that'd be trippy if I find that.
Get the exact coordinates of it.
Remember that?
So we can do like coordinate remote viewing.
What was that movie when we were kids where the evil guy had a castle and he stole the princess and then the castle disappeared? Hold on, I'm about to drop this.
Labyrinth?
Nah, this is way older.
So, Astral, here's a question for you, man. What do you think about time traveling with remote viewing?
I think you can remote view like through time, but it would just be being able to confirm it. So,
are you sure?
I think there's as much. I don't think time is a limitation in terms of people who study remote viewing. Like I don't think people see it as a limitation of like remote viewing things through time.
No, I
But
agree
again,
with
like you'd have to be able to check it, like
No.
confirm your target.
No, let's say there's a way, and our government has a way to do it, right? But let's put it this way: if I was to tell you, like, when you're remote viewing, you're changing yourself spatially, you're where you're at spatially, right? You'd agree with that. You're actually changing that where you're going
What?
What do you mean?
in space. If you're remote viewing, astral traveling, are you there in your body at the time? Are you if you believe in the consciousness and it works, then you're there, right?
Bob Monroe says you're gone.
Okay, that's my point.
Yeah, I guess it would be the technique, the
That's
mental
my point.
process
It's you're
that
gone.
you go
So
through.
you're changing your space. If it's space and time are the same exact thing. So you're literally, let's say you get a little more training, time travel. Matter of fact, not Bellagio, Andrew, whatever.
Bashago.
Yeah, Bashago. Thank you. He talks about it, right? And he says they're the same thing, but when you get to a point, you're actually time traveling, and you're not just like you were saying at a different point in time. You're that person. There's 3 ways to do it. You got the remote viewing, the tech, and then what's the other?
It's not. I guess
It depends like how you remote view it, because like if you take Astral's thing for example, like are you remote viewing the past of like the picture in the envelope, or are you remote viewing the future of when it's revealed?
Well,
it's your intention. I think like a lot has to do with your intention of what you're doing. Like if you're
I
trying to astral travel, you're going to visualize and go through a different mental process than if
Okay.
you're trying to gather the information.
Let me explain it a little easier. Goddamn, Astral, making me explain it easy to you, and I think I'm not saying it right. So if you
No, you're not.
are remote viewing and you're going to go see an envelope and it's at this location, you've changed yourself spatially. If you've been able to change yourself spatially, and we know space and time is the same fucking thing, right? It's just a matter of knowing how, and it's a switch, is what I'm saying. It's not knowing it. You don't know how, so yes, I get it. So I'm saying there's no difference. Time is happening all at once, wherever you're at. Yeah, that's time traveling. Do you
That's wrong. First of all, there's space, matter, and time. They're not. Space time isn't the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, let me try to explain. Let me try to help y'all
That's why they
explain
call
it.
it space time now. It's the same thing.
Well, let me try to help you understand this a little bit more. Okay, I did remote viewing when I was younger, and I was real young, and I wanted to go out of space. I wanted to go out there, just fly around, astral travel, whatever. And all at once I seen the shuttle, and then I seen the shuttle blow up, and then I seen myself in a crunched up position, all burnt up with fire. I saw myself burnt up. And then I was like, oh shit. And I told some people about it. And I thought I might get in a wreck, because sometimes you don't understand, you don't really understand the vision or, you saw. and I remote view that, and then a dude said, "Oh man, you know what? The shuttle's about to take off this weekend or something like that." I said, "Oh shit, don't tell me that." And so we got together. We had a barbecue, and we was gonna watch the shuttle go up, fly up, and it was like I got nervous. I was like walking back and forth. Everybody was sitting down because it was about to take off. You know how they count down and everything. And I was like walking back and forth. I said, "Oh shit, this is gonna fucking happen." And they wanted me to sit down. I says, "I'm not gonna fucking sit down." I said, "Fuck this shit." I couldn't sit down. And then all at once it took off, okay? And boom, it exploded. All them men, 8 men or 7 men or whatever it was, they all turned around and looked at me with their eyes bulging out their head and their mouth open, you know. And I was like, holy shit, Yeah. So that was a future thing. And then, when I did CIA thing and I saw a past where a nuclear bomb blew up. Now, that could be a you could actually move to a consciousness where someone actually saw the bomb blow up, and that's why I saw something in the past,
Hey,
So
go ahead,
that's
Penny. Sorry,
yeah.
sorry. Go, Penny.
Hi. Yeah, I think it's I find the out of body thing difficult and remote viewing difficult, because if we're traveling through time as we've been told that we do, then if we're leaving, are we leaving dimensionally rather than sort of in a fabric of time that's here now? So if we go into a different dimension and we're able to move through different dimensions, we can come back into our time at any point. So yes, I believe for this timeline, you would be able to time travel through remote viewing. That was what I wondered.
I agree. So you heard it from Penny. I'm right. We're closing the space. All right, what's up, Stone?
To what OpenEye was saying, there's some theories that some events are so impactful in time that they send a vibration into the past and the future. And so that's why potentially why remote viewers are having these visions of apocalyptic things right before a massive war breaks out, or possibly if an explosion happens or whatever. But it's so large and impacts history so much that it literally sends a vibration through time. But what I was gonna say, I forgot. It was actually something interesting.
Well,
What did he
that's
say?
the Global Consciousness Project of basically what that studies is basically using random number generators around the world and then measuring big events and like seeing patterns in those and it's been like big events around the world have had like it probably with this last war you could probably let's just start you could see like stuff that's probably happened, you know what I'm saying, of like increased in the measurements that have been taken. But yeah, that's definitely something that should be looked at more. It's really interesting.
Well, what I remember what I was going to say is something I was studying today is a study that was done on out of body experiences that are experienced by people have been blind since birth. And when they have these out of body experiences, there's some data that shows that like verifiable data that they were able to say what was happening during their procedures or when they were having this out of body experience. And they've never been able to see in their life, but they were able to describe what was happening. And that's crazy.
I just came across some CIA paperwork, maybe I gotta find, that talks about intentionally testing blind kids because of that. Because when they're blind, they don't have the bias with their eyesight. So they were for the psi abilities. Holy shit. Yeah,
I
good
saw
shit,
something
man.
about DMT recently and people who are blind and having experiences of visual things when they were on DMT. So that's crazy.
Go ahead, Info.
No, I was actually going to chime in and say that I put that in a group chat, but yeah, a lot of these people who have been blind since birth will do
He said
take the third
info,
hit.
not intro. Are you
Oh
deaf
shit!
since birth?
You're a co-host. You can go whenever you want, Shane. You and
His name's Kimball, but whatever.
You can call me Shane.
I was
Oh, I called you Shane.
Kimball's Gimbals, right? What I was gonna say is that one time somebody put it in the perspective of remote viewing, is like when we were kids and our parents used to, or not our, I'm from the Bronx, New York, you like hack a cable box, right? So like you're hacking the information superhighway that we all know to some degree is real now. If you hear my kids' music in the background,
Coco
deal with
Melon.
it.
Sure, that's your
Yeah,
kids. Sure.
yeah, whatever,
Check
deal
this
with
out.
it. If it's
Info
fun,
It's same, dude. It's
let me
fine.
finish. But what happens is, because there's 3 parts, and I'm almost done. But the second part is if people struggle with their definition of time, look at the author Carlo Rovelli. He will really affect you profoundly if you like this stuff. And he writes it almost, some consider him like a poetic scientist, but he writes about like time is like love. There's different forms. And so time is also a state of existence. That's why it's hard to call it real. And so when you tap into that information superhighway, you're kind of like you're getting a glimmer of the existence of time, and you get to flow in it. And that's all the way to like most. That's me just like laymansing what all these TIA and Bob Monroe and all these guys I like. And then thirdly, it's great that you guys were talking about this because there's a new show on Netflix called Bodies, and it's fucking all about this, and it's awesome. And they find a dead body in episode 1 in 4 different timelines, and it's done phenomenally, and it just came out. So
I
coincidentally,
heard about that, dude. Yeah, that's another.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to see it now.
I'll check it out. But I want to say this, Cypher. I got to piggyback on you. I say that all the time. Actually, you and I describe it almost identical. Consciousness. This is the easy way to think of it. The reason I say time travel, it's the same thing. Let's say consciousness is the base. That's everything, everybody, everything. We're all different expressions of that. We're all tied together, NHI, whatever you want to call it, through that. Consciousness is the electric rail. Consciousness can be hacked. So that's what we're seeing with UFOs, right? So they're able to put it in craft, take part, all these other things, right? What I'm saying is this, if consciousness is the base and we use that to RV, we can do whatever we want. Manifestation, literally anything is what I'm trying to say. Time travel is not even out of the picture, man. Time travel is an easy one, man. We've been doing that since the 50s. Just ask
Have you
Nora.
watched the new season of Loki? Where the TVA timeline gets all messed up?
No, I didn't know there was a new season.
Well, you gotta check it out if you're into the whole timeline thing.
I'm definitely into the whole timeline thing, Nora.
So
Does
there's
it
like
not
another
sound?
Nora out there, like the actual Nora.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
I don't
evil
like this,
Nora.
Nora. I don't like this one. Now, I agree with a lot of everybody saying.
Anti-Nora.
I'm just saying, picture the fact that it all runs on consciousness. Everything we see is consciousness. Everything we interact with is somehow consciousness. Once you get a way to hack it, like some individuals do, especially if individuals have been tweaked by NHI to be into it, things like that, you're going to have a little different experience than you or me or something along those lines. Astral, you see what I mean? These individuals, when they talk about time traveling, they don't talk about it like it's in their head. They're there.
that's why they recommend the Rebels in Gateway, because so there's a separation. Like now is not indicative of time. Like now, this millisecond is not time. 5 minutes ago and 5 minutes in ahead of us is time. And so when you're in your Rebel or whatever the golden bubble is during your gateways, like you're just in now, and that's why you're supposed to focus and do your resonant tuning, and so your vibrations and everything is within the present, and your mind is clear, and then you call upon your egg, your rebel, your it sounds like a defense, but it's really to some degree of fantasism or whatever, fantastic, but
What about the
it's like
jump rope?
keeping you in a bubble of the present while focusing on channeling your energy wherever you want to go. And in the background is Coco
Well,
Melon, so just pardon that.
hey Shane, this one's gonna really freak you out, dude. I was on the motorbike, in 2015, 14, doing research, and I was moving things around in the sky with my eyes, because I could see above me, 360 degrees. All at once, something started bending my fingers back because they were trying to stop me from doing it, I guess, or I must have pissed them off. And I got off my motorbike. I got away from the motorbike because I knew they were on the motorbike. And I closed my eyes and I looked toward the motorbike, and there's fucking Batman with fucking 5 aliens, little bitty 3 like 3 foot 4-foot tall aliens, little skinny motherfuckers, you know? It's like, who the fuck was bending my fingers? Was it the aliens doing that or was it him?
Neil,
And he was like talking to
wait,
these fucking aliens.
Neil, did you fucking say Batman?
Like
I'm not
Batman?
joking, dude. Yeah, the dude was dressed up like fucking Batman. No
Swear to
shit.
me.
Are you?
No.
All right, hold up. All right, guys, do me a favor. Retweet the space if you want to hear the rest of that story real quick, because we're gonna hold up real quick. I just want to bring something else up too. So let me ask you guys what you guys think about the other side abilities. You think there's accidental remote viewing? Do you think pyrokinesis or telekinesis? Any
A
of
lot of it is spontaneous. I feel like a lot of psychic phenomenon, whether it's precognition or even clairvoyance, right? Like we talk about remote viewing, but that's intentional clairvoyance and telepathy. A lot of like times you notice it after the fact. So it's like you have had the dream or you've had that telepathy event, and then you're like, oh shit, like I was thinking of my brother, and then they just called. Like that was kind of weird. So I think a lot of or I've had this dream and like it ended up coming true. I think a lot of this stuff is spontaneous or it's made on, like we talk about trauma, like traumatic events and shit like that. Like I don't think a lot of it is planned when people start having these in the very beginning.
I think we all have psi abilities, but we're like, we don't know much about it. We're like toddlers learning how to walk. It's just like wobbly.
I always get curious to talk to like a real one, like somebody who really did it. Because like, no offense to anybody here, I mean like I don't know who. If I got to meet Bob Monroe, because like I always wonder if like for those people, you know, when you close your eyes, all the colors that you see, whatever is behind your eyes. Like for me, I had this weird. The only weird gateway I did was all those colors turned into like a semi truck driving down a road once. That was the fucking weirdest glimmer of ever hanging on to a gateway and breathing. And but I always imagine like for those guys, I wonder if it turns into like a real map or images and stuff. Well, those, you know, the colors when your eyes are closed.
If I could just chime in real quick, I don't think it's quite that. So it's not like you see an image in your mind.
You totally see an image.
I mean, you do. Like it's just different than like, because I imagine things visually, right? But it's not quite that. It's more in like the,
No, you
I don't
absolutely
know,
just to
intuitive like
correct you
dream
because
state.
you're right in the sense of like individual perception. But the whole concept here and the reason it got government funding to the degree it did was because they saw clear images, including a helicopter crash
No,
that happened.
you do see. I'm just sorry. I have no idea what I'm talking. What I'm about to say, I have no clue.
No, I think what you
I'm
mean
just
is you
saying,
see
but
a
it's different.
flow of images, right? Because I could get with, I mean, not like it matters if I could get with it, but like I think that, and the way we're even going to communicate in the future is sort of like this, a flow of images.
Oh, yo, and I think too, I'll just say quick, one of the best remote viewers, Joe McMoneagle, the reason why he was so good is because he was such a good artist. He was able to take those visualizations and then like put it down on paper, while other people could have the same visualization, but like they do abstract shapes and other things. So like I do think there's an aspect of like artistry and creativity in remote viewing as well.
Yeah, again, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just had I mean, it was totally could have been chance, but I had a violin come up in Astral Space last week, and the headstock of a violin, I don't really see that shape anywhere else, but it happened to be on like the tips of the moon in his reveal, and that was kind of weird to me. You know, I definitely can prove that like I put a violin with like a bow in his thing before the reveal. I was gonna put an arrow pointing at the headstock, but you can see it clearly like curved at the top.
Yeah,
And
so
I'm not even, maybe that was chance. I'm just saying the way that I like whatever received that. I feel a super imposter syndrome right now, but
no way.
the way that came to me was different
You
than
should.
like when I
No, dude.
visualize like artistic things, if that makes sense. Like you can imagine things like by your own will. I don't know. Again, I don't know what I'm saying.
No,
No,
it's like
honestly,
90%
what
of it
sometimes
is
just
like
happens. We're
data
all saying the same thing,
interpretation.
and I
So it's
just
like you have to
sound
figure out
like
how to
aggressive about
interpret that
saying that it is a
data.
visualization. That's my voice. But you're totally correct.
Can you hear
I
Nora?
oh no, I
That's
can't.
not Nora.
He's
But
not talking.
I'll step out and come
Or
back.
that
But let me
lady,
finish.
that lady that's
Grimace.
It's okay. You can
Oh,
stay,
real
Coco
quick,
Felon. I'm about to leave anyway.
like
All right,
like
Nora.
what Astral was saying
That's
about Joe
definitely
Coco
Nora.
McGonagall.
Felon.
What Astral was saying about Joe McGonagall is true, and it's because like when I saw that truck, I couldn't have opened my eyes if I wanted to. It was probably the weirdest gateway I ever did. So yeah, somewhere like deep inside my mind, I was like, my eyes are just closed and I'm kind of awake. It was somewhere more like in the later focuses. There's like focus 21. And so your eyes are freaking closed, dude. And I'm not like a deep believer like this. I'm like scientifically fucking with this shit for fun. Now I'm kind of a believer, but this was probably a year ago, and your eyes, like, I couldn't have opened them if I wanted to. It's the only way I could describe them. And so that layer behind my eye was like this veil that became like an image. And that was the weirdest gateway I ever did. And the only one that felt the realest. Although they're all really cool and good for you in a meditative state. But yeah, so I agree with you. And I just think that some people, though, at the higher level, like if you read your CIA library or your old Chinese studies, those fuckers saw clear stuff, and that's a wild thing to, get to. It's like your satellite's almost working, Kimball, and then their satellite's like a direct feed.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, like, Astral or Ray or someone, like, how do you, because that was just like a tiny part of the image in Astral's reveal, and it was a unique part of it, but like, that's all I got. So I guess I want to ask people who are maybe more like experienced or trained in remote viewing, if they're real, like, how do you keep going with a thing? Like, if you get a flash and it's like you see a part of the image, cool, but like, how do you know when to stop or keep going, I guess?
Hey, Penny, go, please.
Okay. I say you relax. And one of the strangest things that you do is that you don't fight where you're being taken. I think that's I've had two things happen. I've spoken, probably people here have heard before, that I was stood in the bathroom looking in my bathroom mirror, and my brother was in the image behind me speaking to me, and I looked at him and he said, and I heard Penny very clearly, and then when I went in to check on him, he was asleep, and I made him a cup of tea. And when he woke up, he told me that he'd had problems waking up and that he was calling to me in his sleep, and that he was scared because he couldn't wake up, like a sleep paralysis thing. And the other thing that I've had is where I was traveling in the back of a van. There were no windows in the back of the van. It wasn't like a police van or anything. It was just a van where there were no windows. And I was traveling in the back and people were traveling in front. And I began to semi-fall asleep. And then I had an image of a very blue car coming up suddenly, and there would have been a crash. And I woke up with a real start, and I said, "Watch out for the blue car." And about fractions of seconds later, the driver said to me that, said, "Oh my God," and swerved to avoid a blue car that had come around the corner very, very tightly. So I think one was where I think they come best when you're really slow on your breathing and you're relaxed, and it allows you to, something falls away from your day-to-day knowing. And yeah, I think it's a strange thing. It's almost like you start on a wave, like when you're surfing and you start on a wave and then you follow the wave. That's just what I've experienced anyway.
Absolutely. This is OC here. Just wanted to chime in on that remote viewing you guys are talking about. I think everyone's different. Everyone has a different process of how you get into it. But when you get into this rhythm and you can just really silence it down, you can almost do it instantaneously. Like, you don't have to wait for your brain and heart to cohere at the same beat. You can almost do it in one breath and it comes naturally. And for me, what I see in my forehead is kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch. I'll see lines right away. And I only practice with you guys. Whoever posts them on Twitter, those envelopes, I never chime in because I always think I'm wrong. But images, when I practice, images come into my head like that, lines and so on. But some people can see really clear, and those are like the guys that are born psychics. I think you got to be born with it. But have you guys seen this? It's like a 2012 two-part movie with Ted Danson called Talking to Heaven. Well, one of the guys that the movie's based on, it's based on an actual remote viewer in real life, and he explains it that way. That when you're seeing it, he said that's exactly how they portrayed it in the two-part movie. Is exactly how he sees it when he's a psychic and he can explain and talk to and find locations of things. But you have to be kind of spiritual and at the same time psi, I think. Anyway, that's just my thoughts.
Speaking
What's
of
the movie called again?
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I just looked it up,
Talking
dude.
to Heaven. It's free on Tubi. Talking to
I'm
Oh,
about to watch
sweet.
that too.
it's it.
um,
All right. I had to go. Shout out to the yellow envelope guy in the
I was gonna
room.
say Nora's the one who gave me that nickname.
Love you guys. See ya.
go to hell.
Later,
Bye,
Nora.
Nora.
Fuck you, Shane.
Come
Hey,
back.
so guys, do me a favor, retweet the space. And since we're talking about psi abilities, I think I always talk about, I guess, the shit that I've been dealing with, right? Probably too much. So much so that you got weird, whatever you want to call me. Dude, someone just hit a description, right? I have no idea how it works, but I get pictures sometimes. Just I mean, when I talk to people, when I see things, smell things. And so for a long time, people were telling me I was crazy. My Peter Tingle doesn't wear out. Dude, I'm not crazy. And I have zero idea how it works, why it's worked. Let me just say this. To have, just like my UFO experience, having it kind of validated by David or talking to other individuals that I know and things like that. And I'm like, because it only makes sense for me knowing the things but again, these things are so nuts that we let people convince us, even when we're experiencing them, that we are the ones crazy. Is that not wild? So I have no idea what it is. I know it's got to be a connection to the third rail in some kind because I think I've talked to several people in here, whatever you Astral, Peter Tingle. When people talk to me, it doesn't even have to be voice. It could be typing. I could see here and I see things. Sometimes I alert them, and a lot of times they're right. And then the syncs that line up, right? Continuously over and over again. So I actually feel like I said something today. I said, man, it feels like I'm in a book someone's writing or they're going to be writing because it's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's literally written specifically for me to get to this point. All the information that pops in, right? Because I can't explain where I'm at, how I'm here doing the things that I do because I didn't do this shit prior. And now that I talk about it, now that I know that there's something to it, I don't know what the hell it is, but to I do see pictures. When I say Peter Tingle, whenever instantly I get a thing in my head, and a lot of times I'll say it out loud. So I don't know what it is, dude. I have zero idea how this happened. I'm sure the aliens abducted me and planted probes up my nose or some shit, man. But it wasn't work. I didn't have this before because if I had any kind of Peter Tingle before, I wouldn't have had a shit life. I'd have been rich and shit. I've been coasting.
I see what you're saying, man. I think young girl that was just said right now, remote viewing is like it's a gift you have if you have it, man. Share it with everyone how you can do it because I think she's right. We're all wobbly, learning, amateurs at it, but we have something there. We could feel that there's a presence sometimes around us, and you're not alone. Sometimes it's crazy.
That's good stuff too, because again, these gifts are used for good and bad, whatever how we perceive them, right? You have individuals that are trying to utilize the very things we discuss. Let's say all the reverse engineering people, they're not just out there trying to be black projects are going to murder people. There's individuals that are actually trying to do black projects, reverse engineering tech for health, benefit, veteran, all these other things, right? No one hears about shit like that. But there's two sides to this. So there are programs that exist for the betterment of mankind, but you got a group against that with gatekeepers and stuff like that because it hits their bottom line. One of those things I never learned was that, right? That not all these black programs are created equally. They're not all weaponizations in the way we think of them, right? They could be about medical and all these, the betterment of humanity. And there are some programs that do exist right now, but no one hears about it because the other side right now, the gatekeepers is why. So What do we do to get rid of? And speaking of, anybody in these rooms know of another gatekeeper that isn't Stephen Walker? You can holler at me, point me in their direction, please. Go ahead, Astral.
Well, before we get into that, I wanted to also jump to info after you guys talked about the like time travel stuff. Like, to me right now, as people see time travel, it's almost like people who get information from an alternate state of consciousness or a extrasensory perception, and then it alters their decision making in real life. So like, you have something happen and then you're like, sorry, I got a call. You think about the information that you get, and then it changes your decision making. So for myself, I had a precognitive dream in which I had a dream about my son, and my son was hurt in the dream. Like, something happened outside, like at our house. And a couple days later, we were outside of our house, and I was just kind of hanging out. My son was playing like basketball over, and he was like, "Hey, Dad, like, come check out the spider." And I was like, damn, man, like, that's weird. Like, it made me think of the dream. And so I was like, called him over concern from the dream. And he was like, I was like, what did you say, buddy? Like, and he's like, look at this spider over here. And he turned around and there's a big ass spider on his back. And so I swatted the spider off and like stomped on it, like just reaction, like of what anybody would probably do. And it ended up being like a brown recluse, a spider, which is a poisonous one. So it was like I used the information from the dream to sort of like change the outcome of what had happened or what could have happened. And I think that is what our current understanding is of, like, quote unquote time travel.
So I agree with that. I mean, I'm shit, dude. I'm so woo right now that I think that if I wanted to, like I said, with the Cosmic Mirrors, if I could have the ability, know how, I could have manifest some shit, right? I mean, physically manifest stuff, because they talk about it in those experiments. The people being experimented on weren't the only ones seeing it. People outside the rooms also saw these things being manifested, you know. So it tells me there's a lot more to it. Let me ask you guys this: since we're talking about all this stuff, let's say that I'm a way cuter fire starter, right? Let's say you're going through it and you're on your own. We talk about, like, I have no idea how this shit happens. What do you do, man? Who is there to go to that you could be like, hey, doc, my Peter's tingling a little bit. Let me tell you a story. What do you do there? Because you can't do that. I know what I did. I had someone actually reach out and help me that went through similar. Does that sound crazy? Because it does, but it was real. So what do you do there? If there's such, it's so real that people probably exist throughout America dealing with, not even knowing they're dealing with shit like this. Probably think they're going through psychosis or some shit, right? I can see that. And there's no one there to tell them, well, ask them questions or say shit to them, right? What the fuck do you do? Because again, it's not like we have access to people that you can just aviary loo in it. Hey, is this real? And then how do you vet it? How do you verify that it's all? I mean, because again, I sound like I'm insane just talking about this right now, don't I? Yeah, I do.
You're not insane, bro. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the military that leads us to be the way we are when we get out. So it's really common. I wouldn't sweat it. I understand what you guys are going through. It's tough. All this stuff coming at us at like full speed ahead, and then just today or yesterday, 2 days ago, all of a sudden Arrow looks like you can't even be trusted. They look like another Project Blue Book.
So they can never have been trusted, and I love that you said that, dude, because it's not like the government can't be trusted. It's like what to expect is in every book, like on like in every shelf, and that's like it really actually helped my. I used to get like anxiety around sci-fi concepts, I guess we could say. So I would get so embroiled in this, like not even focus on a real job. Like I help people like from your guys' sector who struggle with alcohol, and I need to focus on work. And this is like 4 years ago reading UFO stuff, but as like just coincidentally as I started going further, and I'm not saying people have to do college. This is my experience. As I started to learn more in political science and history, I tied that into my hobby, and I was like, wow, like a lot of the answers are here without me needing to be like resentful of it. It's just the current state of my existence. So like for me, the movement's really about my kids or his kids, God willing. And but yeah, I totally agree that RO and what the government does is compartmentalize for the purposes of secrecy, which you guys know, but also you can drag along a lot of projects in some when some conversations are happening, and this is getting a lot of funding. Period. Like yeah, I think even Blinken announced recently they're like that they're concerned about the airspace. All of a sudden, Blinken's finally on it, and that's going to get a lot of people more money. In the sense of defense.
It feels kind of fake, almost like Kirkpatrick seems kind of almost like he's being threatened beyond his life. Like it's worse than that. If he were to whistle blow, and I kind of want to believe that he's an honest guy and he would tell us the truth because he's sweating bullets when he's up there talking. You could almost see like I don't want to lie. He wants to tell the truth, but he's reading from a script. You know that it's doctored, and he has like almost a fear of telling us something that he's not supposed to tell us.
Holy
So
shit.
I don't want to throw him completely under the bus. I really think he's a trustable guy, but he's being fucking threatened beyond death. Maybe kind of like a time prison where they can lock their consciousness away in a loop.
You
I'm
know
I
what,
mean,
scared.
man? That's
I
good
mean,
shit, Skywalker. Because again, I've heard multiple places people talk about Sean as a friend, and then again talk about it on the other hand, right? Because of the process he's in. Because today, as I was talking to an individual, some of the stuff that we were talking about was pretty heavy. But one of the things they said that there's certain projects there are no NDAs. Certain
Yeah.
projects, the
Hmm.
NDA's your life. So when you sign on to said projects, things like that. So everything you said makes sense because again, if you take the total of what he would say to bring this all out and what would happen, imagine that. Some projects don't have NDAs. The NDA is your life. So when you sign it, you just damn know if you slip up. And I heard some shit today that for a fact, I mean, no doubt in my mind, what the individuals I've been interviewing, every bit of what we're talking about is probably tip of the fucking iceberg or what our government's been up to and doing. Hell, dude. So imagine, how can I say this? Technology that can track individual humans anywhere on this planet. And there's a way it does it. I don't want to talk about that. But it exists individually. And it doesn't take anything put on you or special. It's all right here now. Imagine that. If they knew what, let's say whatever it was they needed to put in the system, okay? Let's say like with, I don't know, the smell. Well, they go by the smell of each person. I don't fucking know. But my point being, yeah. So stuff like that, they can track a human, a specific human, and they don't need, well, the best way to put this is shit. What's this from X-Men? What's the biggest brain thing? Imagine some shit like that. Being able,
Cerebrum?
yes, exactly.
Cerebro. Get it
That's
together,
it,
Cerebro.
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 Imagine Cerebro's real. That's what it is. I mean, essentially, it's that. They can look for whoever they want and they can find him. And then on top of that,
Damn.
it gets even worse, man. Like, I saw a video a while back of a supposed, oh my God, I'm going to say it, a space laser hitting California. That shit's legit. So
Yo,
Star
but
Wars,
that's the what you're talking about identifying somebody is open source now. They released that just so you guys know. So you can identify somebody by their specific heartbeat with light and laser. On DARPA, I'm gonna put it up top for you guys because
thank
what
you
he's
for
talking
putting it
about
up
is
top.
real.
But this is a little bit more in depth, but it might be the same thing. So I'm not sure. I just don't want to say any more on that, but I will say Star
Well, it was
Wars.
called the Jetson. What I'm talking about, the Jetson prototype. If anybody looks it up, and so it
Put in
was.
the nest, man.
Yeah, let me go grab it. My bad.
So, um, what was I going to say? I was talking about space, lasers, and shit. Oh, ELF. We talk about ELF and VLF, earthquakes. That's something they talk about in there, and that happens. Throughout, we were able to do this. You have to ask yourselves, well, because that paper I posted the other day talked about how, I guess, natural type waves could create mass disasters and things like that. Now imagine if your government knew that and stuff we've already talked about. And then you've got the space lasers, right? But they don't need shit for it. The thing that scares me, and I'll leave you with this too before we get to the Astral, is all the scariest stuff that I've heard doesn't take some super weapon and shit. It takes what you're walking around with, probably. And it makes you wonder about a lot of the shit that's occurred. What's up, Astral?
Hey man, I posted a screenshot of a book that I've been going through and reading for the last couple of days. It's actually one of the best. I think it's going to be one of the best, if not the best, book that I've read on remote viewing. One of the most interesting things about this guy Lynn Buchanan, who was part of the remote viewing program, was basically like he got written instructions on what he was going to do within his rank in the military, and then he got verbal instructions that were like basically go AWOL and become part of this remote viewing program. And he goes through like the whole process of him like being part of this remote viewing, all the remote viewing programs that kind of developed. But I wondered, like, have you ever heard of that? Of like people official, and it even makes me think of Kirkpatrick, of like
Yes.
him having official like directions and documentation of what he's supposed to do, and then verbally like, okay,
Timothy
bro, this is what
McVeigh.
you're really fucking doing.
Yes. Timothy McVeigh, lots of people, they go sign up, they're part of a program released as said program, and they continue on in the program. A lot of times they don't even know they're in the program.
But he also talked about people that were in where he was supposed to be, right? Like he was supposed to be in this way, and all the people in there were like pissed at him. They were like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing, bro?" Like, and because he was like getting, like, and then he would have somebody, their superior, show up when these people would get pissed and like try and like block whatever's happening. Like, then they'd have like the general show up and be like, I want this guy in this fucking place at this time. Like, don't fuck around. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they would pull the strings. So it was kind of crazy to see like the strings that would be pulled and the things that they would have to do just to get people to participate in some of these programs.
Wait, holy shit, hold up, let me back up. Are you saying like they're testing him to see if he's able to read between the lines? If he's able to pick
No,
up
I'm
stuff?
saying like so he was supposed to be in this like, like sector of the military and like doing this like very anonymous task or autonomous task, and that really he was trying to, they were like, okay, you're going to take like 2 weeks and like go to the Monroe Institute for train and
Oh
like
yeah,
get incorporated in this
the
remote
great
viewing program,
projects.
but we don't want to tell your actual boss or superior directly above you like what's going on. Like it's got to be
Yeah,
secret,
100%.
you know.
Dan Sherman, he was a part of a great project. Even though it technically wasn't remote viewing, I mean, if you're talking to aliens, you're a communicator with them, right? So the way it works is you have a real job, a fake job. People with a real job don't even know about the fake job. That you're doing one or the other, and they could switch it up any which way, right? That's how they hide them from Congress. You're already in a top secret job, so they have you doing the other one while you're there. So yeah, I could see that 100%. Dan Sherman, like I just said, Project Preserve Destiny. Matter of fact, a lot of the individuals that I talked to had some shit like that, where they're going to a school and they're doing something behind the scenes, and Project Stargate never ended. And there was two Stargates apparently, portals and portals and the one we know of, right? The RV. So what the fuck, man? Portals.
By portals, do you mean like the movie Stargate?
You had to say that. Now let me ask you this: have you ever watched a movie knowing what you know now and think, God darn, that sure looks like someone was trying to push some disclosure back then?
Monsters of California.
Yeah, that's a good example for right now. 100%. But my point being,
Monsters Inc.
I did it on
And
purpose.
Bryce Zabel talks about during his movie or during his show, right? He was filming. He got a visit from Axelrod, right? And writes a note on some paper with a formula. So
I learned something from Kemp the other day I didn't know. And X-Files had like the original few seasons was like 23 episodes based on true stories.
damn, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
Did y'all
man.
see
I
the
didn't bother watching
X-Files?
that.
The X-Files offshoot that had 9/11 or something like that?
That was those guys. Wasn't that with the three dudes? I bought that, but I bought by mistake an Irish copy and I can't play it on my DVD player.
Go ahead, Penny. An Irish copy. How do you do that? Go ahead, Penny.
I love Irish coffees.
Me too.
I was just thinking that you wouldn't. Sorry, just bouncing back to NDAs. NDIs. I don't think. I know NDA. Sorry, getting it all confused. I don't think you'd need them. As you'd just make sure that you'd pick people that would be involved in family, and people who would be involved in some sort of responsibility of care through other people. Even if you take the most hardened person who's been through all sorts of hell in military service and what have you, from my experience, they always have such an incredible level of loyalty and honour to those that they bring in closest to them. And I think they deliberately target people like that.
Is anyone talking?
Yeah. Penny was.
No, thank
Can't
you,
hear.
Penny. I heard you.
We heard you though, Penny. I agree, Penny, actually. So much that so with these children, right? She was just making a comment like, you've got to keep them in check. You want them to stay on their own. If they're trying to run, which I'm not saying they won't run and stuff like that. So what do? You can utilize their family, or maybe you get, let's say if you look at the whole Scott Andrews thing, how'd that work? How'd he get into the program? Your family brings you in, right? So I'm sure he's not the only individual. Matter of fact, that's probably a common thing with these, because again, you don't need an NDA when you're doing it that way. And then, yeah, so even if you think you escape said programs, doesn't mean you escape, because I already talked about this before, that the CIA targeted individuals, they'll keep an eye on you. They don't even need to mess with you. They'll just make sure you're in the position. Let's say allegedly, like with the Scott Andrews thing, if I'm the spitball at what's going on, he'll be guided to the jobs he's need to do, be in positions that he needs to be in, because they know what he is. He's a, I can't say that. He's a part of a project, a Superman project, right? That we've been working on. And here's what I'll tell you about that project. That these projects probably all revolve around the name of this space. Right? I mean, that's not a hard jump. Go info.
Well, you do have projects like the HoloLens, and I got family in that, and they don't talk shit at the table. But I would say too, I gotta go soon because my battery's dying. But a weird observation I have, not really weird, it's just something I've seen across the board throughout history from people that touch the deepest of secrets. And you could look at images of Colby, James Angleton, Frank Wisner. These people really touch the fire from the CIA, and their eyes are fucking dead. If you talk to their family or see interviews, they were dead with their families. Their personality is so objective that they seem robotic, but also empathetic in a way that's weird, because they know the deepest core secrets of the us. And I think what terrified them more than anything throughout their history, these people, is humans. And we're the most terrifying thing. Earlier you said something that I'd rather get hit by a space laser than have a mob of people raid my house and kill me any day. But to finish my point is that I do question a lot of newer people that say they're like these individuals with these happy-go-lucky demeanors and lighthearted eyes. And I'm not kidding about the eyes. What's the other guy, the Asian man, Filipino, that came out, said he was CIA, and I kind of believe him, but he said Garcia or something. The only reason I technically believe that guy is because his eyes are dead as fuck. And when people ask him direct questions about his serious
John
past,
Ramirez?
yeah. So I'm not saying his whole story, and don't get all condescending about him because I didn't jump on him. But I'm just saying he did work for the CIA. I don't know what his tasks were, but his eyes are also dead as fuck.
I do. And I'm telling
And
you,
so
everything he's saying, I wouldn't doubt. I used to talk shit, man, because I thought
but
that's wild. But talking to other people now, I know for a fact he hasn't been lying about the shit, man.
I
He,
just, yeah, minus
So
his
info.
stories, his eyes are dead as fuck.
What do you mean by that? What does dead as fuck mean?
So
Like,
it's hard for
because I
me.
got
The
bags
only
over my
person
eyes. Does
no,
that
the
mean
only
I'm special?
person, no, it's different, man.
he's
And I
seen
guess
some
it's
shit.
somebody,
Jim Simney van.
you have to be so for me, actually, a lot of people here like drugs. If you ever go close to the real bad drug dealers, there's a different look. There's a whole different look. and I can't explain that to people. And then so having my life be from that, and then through what they teach you about profiling, facial, like all the stuff that is burnt into my skull now. It's not my job, but one day, hopefully, right? But that I could give you a thread of eyes, and you'll understand what I mean. I think I'm gonna do it like that.
Would the inverse maybe of what you're talking about being like the phrase "they had a light in their eyes"? Have you ever heard that?
So like a glimmer in the eye, right? But nah, these guys have dead eyes. These guys, look up James.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The inverse, the opposite of what you're talking about.
Yeah, the inverse of a
the
glimmer
lack
in the
of a
eye.
light in their eyes. Yeah.
Like when you're
Like
looking at
Dodie.
them, even if they're talking to you about happy stuff, you're like, you've seen some shit, man. And I've only met 3 people in my life that had to use aliases to get help for alcoholism that I really understood, like in my face, what that was. And then I'll put up a little thing up top to show you guys what I mean. I think I did that with Chupacabra and Think Tank a long time ago, but dead eyes is really a serious thing at the upper echelon of CIA, and it's literally throughout history. You see these people that touch a fire, and it affects you in a way that you can't look happy. And it sounds stupid, but it's also a part of profiling, so it's very real. So anyway, it's just a tell to look for. If somebody's happy-go-lucky Coco Melon, hey, I found UFOs, that's fucking weird. Anyway.
Okay, so I'm in the clear then.
Really cool thing is
Not
that
you. I'm talking about different.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm sure Mr. Ramirez would chime in. He's really open to the community, and he would tell you what his conditions are. He's like in his mid-60s or something. He's just retired. I bet you he's got some kind of eye condition. He'll tell you straight up. I don't know.
No, yeah, I hear you.
It's more of like an intuitive thing, not like a physical feature thing, right?
To a degree, but I'm just going to put this all together for you and put it in the Jumbotron so you see.
So
it's crazy when I lay them out.
UFO Intros doesn't believe in dead eyes, huh?
No, I do. I have them.
Okay. I believe that. I met you. I actually, crazy. These 3 co-hosts, we were all hanging out together by the pool in freaking what? Pasadena?
That was fun times. Yeah. Contact in the desert.
Yep, I forgot all about that shit. Yeah.
Palm Springs.
It's very scandalous photos of some gentleman in a pool.
Yeah, how'd that happen there, bro?
I don't know. It's not my fault you're ripped.
Dude, I was like freaking out for a second. I'm like, wait, what's Nora's like, I got a spy there. She sends me a photo of me and it's like up close. And I'm like, and I'm in the pool and I'm like, who the fuck took that? Oh, it was Kimball. And he's even sending it out to everybody.
Kimball's creepy ass.
Kimball.
No, it was a good time though, man. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons I like going there is just meeting people, because I had a conversation today and like, you don't really go to get this weird anywhere else in person. You can come to these rooms and get weird, right?
Can I just say something real quick? Red Panda's going to think this is cloud chasing, but just like genuinely meeting Jay Anderson from Project Unity and John Majorowski, they were like, when I first saw him, I was like, oh, like a couple of hot shots. And then like I talked to him and they were the most genuine people ever. Like seriously, like very, very kind, humble. Like we talked for like 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, we were trauma bonding, were we? And then
John is very cool.
My buddy from high school, doesn't matter, he's really successful, but he's also like been way into the phenomena since he was a kid. He's like the only friend I have in real life that like thinks about this stuff. But he got an email from Jay Anderson today that was like 7 paragraphs long and just was like really, really well written. I don't know. I feel like those guys are solid dudes, and they were there with us.
They're awesome. Yeah, that's a fun thing. We should make that a yearly thing. But the one that we should totally make a yearly thing, if they ever bring it back, is the UFO cruise. That sounds hella fun.
Dude, I posted some pictures just from I didn't realize how many events I'd been to. I'm a freaking groupie. I was going through mine just to pull out some different ones. It's like, oh shit, I think I went to max amount in a literal year. I went to, was it Vernal? Then UFO Congress, Alien Con, the one in Pasadena,
Moon Lake,
Greenville. What else?
Moon Lake.
Yeah, Moon Lake. Yeah, dude. Anyway, I like hanging out there just the reason I can do this, but kind of just do it in person, because how often do you get to be this freaking weird? So it's pretty cool shit.
Hey, Shane, man. Hey, thanks for hosting the space, dude. I'm OC. Nobody important. I go by Skywalker on Twitter, but I just wanted to say, there's so many people here. Do you guys ever try to do like unintentionalized? You know how people are getting together and projecting futures and trying to like you say everything's consciousness, everything around us is consciousness, and we contribute to everything that's around us, right? Even when we die, we become part of that field itself and manifest into something else. I don't know how it works.
That's
What
cool,
I'm saying,
actually.
well, what I'm saying is, do you guys ever end the session and say, hey, or right in the middle of the session when you guys are all hyped up and all energetic and stuff, and you just intentionalize three things that you want to accomplish, like you want peace in Gaza or whatever, three objectives, and you can project those things out when you guys go into your meditative spaces at night after the space, or even during the space. I'm not trying to say host a meditation and get all hippie and whatever, but you can do three things really quick and say, I'm gonna write three things down. I'm not trying to be all culty and say give Putin a heart attack or something like that. I didn't say that, even though a lot of people are saying that he actually had a heart attack today. Is that true?
I heard that, but you know what? You had a point, though. No, that's
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
a good idea. I believe everything you're saying too. So,
right.
how do we do it? So, tell us exactly how. Like right in the middle, you just say what?
Well, the way I do it, and I don't, everyone crashes CE5. I think it's a good tool, a good way to make contact, protocols or whatever. Um, what we do is we build a coherence in the team before we start, and it's kind of fun. It's like a fun exercise. We say, everybody take your mics off of mute, and when I say 1 2 3, everyone says the state that they're in right now, and that helps to bring like a brain heart coherence together, and you don't even notice it. It's just kind of like a fun game, and before you know it, everyone's heart and brain is beating at the same time, and even though you're like located at different parts of the globe, you guys are still connected, right? And then you can send out information in mass quantities of what you want to accomplish. And that's what they want us to be doing right now, I think.
I wonder if there's a way to
Sorry, I'm
be.
working out right now.
No, you're right. I'm just curious. If there's a way to be accidentally connected, like because
Yeah,
that's
but
how I
that.
feel sometimes. I'm like when I was talking earlier.
Mm,
That's what I feel like. I'm connected to people sometimes like that, like receiving shit. I don't
right
know.
on.
Don't know if that's the case. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing or talking about. It's just there. So,
Nice.
hey,
You guys want to
guys,
try
do me
it?
a favor. Thanks for being here, Skywalker.
Cool, man.
Um, retweet the space. I think I'm going to keep it going for another 30 minutes. We can talk about anything you want. Let's put some stuff in the thread, though, if you don't mind.
I just wanted to mention that after your space, UFO Intros is going to be holding a short space regarding the Jesse Mitchell Michaels or whatever and Kurt J. Mongol's episode.
Thank
So that's going
you.
to be cool.
Actually,
Thank
you
you
know
so
what,
Great
much.
guys?
talk.
I'm actually going to do it just a full 24 hours from when this space started. I'm just going to do it tomorrow. This has
Oh,
been
I was
great.
getting ready to end the
Okay, good
space
to know.
now for
Thank
you.
you.
And it's actually
Hey,
Jesse Michaels.
I just put some examples in the jumbotron, but it's like I guess what I was thinking of when I started picking out pictures is like a person that could never smile. The smile's in your eyes too. And so I actually picked even pictures of these people trying to fucking smile and they can't. And I could get more all day of leaders throughout the world and all that. And when you touch the fire, your eyes change, man. And so I know this sounds weird, dude, but please pay attention to that when you start following these individuals. Nobody's happy go lucky that understands such paramount information.
Hey, can I piggyback on that, actually? How do I say this? I was having a conversation a while back with somebody, and they were talking about earlier. I said I met people that had seen tech, okay, and then they were talking about pictures, videos, whatever you want to say, right? And then they started saying, sometimes you got to think about it because some of the stuff's pretty heavy, and there's no walking away from it not changed. Does that make sense? And that's just what you were saying, right? So some of the stuff we're all trying to get to. Imagine getting to and not even being prepared, even though you think you're prepared because of it. I mean, shit. I think there's a thing that talks about, was it Jim Simivan when he was showing the phenomenon, the real phenomenon, right? Kind of messed him up a little bit. Hell, he's not the only one. So What is that? Is that perception? Is it a bad thing? Is there multiple good and bad? I don't know. What do you guys think? Don't everybody talk at once.
Can you just restate it real quick?
Oh my God. I want to block you, dude.
It was just it was a little bit convoluted.
All right. Well, oh, gee, thanks. All right. That helps. I can do that. I talk convoluted sometimes. I agree with that. So I forgot what I said, though, man. So now you got to go back and read it.
See?
Good and bad.
Oh, start me off, man. My ADHD got me messed up. I can't remember what I said.
I think there's varying types of good and bad,
Thank you.
different
She
levels
followed me.
of good and bad. I was away from my phone. Sorry. It just depends on also whose moral compass you're going off of. Like some things, some people's moral compass might be a little further extended than others. So it's in the eye of the beholder, I guess. But there's some things that's just universally wrong, like killing people and hurting children, and but they make exceptions for that too. So I don't know.
I mean, I think they do, but it's more like, well, not the government. They don't do greater good. It's about numbers. But sometimes I think it comes down to the whole, what is it? Well, I'll just say greater good. Because, you give somebody a choice to kill. I don't think they'd take it unless they're a sociopath, right? Unless they had to. But fuck me, man. I don't know, dude. Hey, retweet the space. Hey, guys, we're probably going to go, I don't know, maybe 15 more minutes. I'm tired as hell, actually. I've done 2 3-hour interviews in 2 days in a row. And my brain, this is the coolest part, man. Like I said, the more I learn, the better I feel about, I guess, everything I went through, right? About validating my experience, things like that. Stuff I talk about. But also that we've all been doing good shit, man. We're doing the real shit. I don't know anybody else talking about this shit.
I guess for your thing you brought up earlier about good and bad, like the time really changes good or bad, and then your barometer on what's the ultimate bad. I know that sounds stupid, like really bad English, but this is like the only way I could explain these things is my chopped up verbiage. Like as time goes on, you do see what is always bad, right? So there are points in history that have never changed perceptively across the globe, like certain things people did in World War II or atrocities before that, right? And throughout history, it seems the perception is not shifting. I mean, I don't know. You go back all throughout history, and there's things that have written, and if you read about them from different cultures, they're always very bad. And I guess that to me is the ultimate bad. And then the ultimate good is things that are always written upon and can't be written upon any other way, like love or sci-fi books.
If
I'm kidding about it.
I mean, those are all good points, actually, and I've thought about them. I wonder if it comes down to this. So those bad experiences are traumatic, right? And time slows down. You grab more detail in trauma than it's from or time traveling, really, right? And I wonder if it's because those experiences, even though maybe not anymore, they have more detail. So those are the ones they write about, right? Whereas when we all know a good time, things are going good, it flies. It's gone. It doesn't, almost like it doesn't exist. So I've often been thinking if the reason we see all those bads written, right? It's what they're writing about all the time. It's because they have more detail, and that's just a conscious thing too. Time travel's real. RV. Go ahead, screen. Screen.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Caught me switching over headphones. Yeah, you mentioned about people not being ready. I don't think people get into that enough, and I don't know if people are ready. You get into like me, for instance, see a TR3B. I'm looking at anti-gravity. Then it goes invisible, right? From like being able to see through it a little bit, like the Predator, to not being able to see it at all. So there was technology that was able to hide itself from me in any way that I've been taught to to visualize, what we would call reality, anything I've experienced my whole life, and this thing just disappears, right? So like to think about that, there could be tech that could just be right outside of us all the time, or that we could be living inside of this matrix type thing, or consciousness experiencing itself. And then you get into, is your family even real type stuff. I don't think people are ready for that, honestly.
Do you guys think DNA, bloodlines? What do you think it is that draws, I guess, some of the increased attention from human and NHI? What do you think that is?
Trauma, maybe.
Hey, that's a good point. Do you think they're interested in their emotions? Because, well, tell me about that.
I have no idea. I just been to a
Give me a
few
goddamn
different
bone,
experience.
man. You come out with some good
I was
shit, and I'm
about
throwing
to.
you
I
a
was about to.
bone. That's a good
I
point.
pause. That doesn't mean I'm done. I don't know, listening in on experiencer groups who people have seen like way wilder things than me. It seems like alcoholism might be a trend. And it's not like being an alcoholic is going to make you see aliens, but just, people maybe who resort to chemicals to like deal with shit have been through shit. I don't know. Like, just
Maybe,
anyone who's maybe depressed
maybe
or
those
anxious or
indigo
like been through
kids, those indigo children just became addicts like it says they do.
Maybe
That's
it's
one.
the energy and the emotion.
Yeah, it could be multiple things, but I will say one of the common listings for indigo children is something along those lines, like addiction, just the stuff we talk about in these rooms that a lot that's common with individuals that see these things. Does that not? That's wild, huh? I mean, I looked at a list one time. I swear to, I almost freaked out. I was like, "Is somebody write my life?" It looked like someone wrote a checklist on my life for an indigo child, and I'm like, that's ridiculous, man. 17 to 17, 14 to 14, stuff like that, right? And I'm like, doesn't mean anything, right? Don't know what an indigo child is. Maybe just got that indigo glow about my aura, right? Who knows?
Is that your cologne, Indiglo?
Yeah, that's a good one, Screen. Hey, someone should make that shit. I'd buy it.
I'd buy Sombre first.
Indiglo Shane.
Dude, I born in 79. Oh, I hit him. You know, I could be. Or the Antichrist. One of those two. My ex
Nah,
thinks the
he's coming from
Antichrist.
Europe. He's coming from Europe. God. I'm just kidding. I'm
UFO
half
Shane is
kidding.
the Antichrist.
Yo, my dad had this whole thing when we were kids about that, bro. And I always try to find like so he wasn't religious. Anybody knows me knows my dad was like a goomba, but he was a great guy, awesome dude. But I guess he kept it a secret, his love for all this stuff. But he used to like bring up how the Antichrist is going to come from the reestablished Roman Empire, which would be Europe. It's always bothered me now when I look at it. And then he was like one night he went on a run, like just drinking Sambuca and talking about with his friends, and they were into it. And I just remember he was like, you seen the Revelation and the scorpions and the flying? He's like, you ever look at a fucking Apache helicopter? He's like, that doesn't sound like a flying fucking scorpion to you. And dude, he tripped out all these guys, man. I'll just never forget it. And then as I got older, yeah, he showed me, his favorite movie was The Knowing with Nicolas Cage and things like that. It
Dude,
was
Tastic,
trippy.
don't you know a lot about that? The Antichrist?
Oh shit, we didn't even get there. That's how we're gonna end it on Antichrist. I'm with it.
Well, first let's get over to 1224.2 before we get on to the happy stuff. By the way, did I pronounce your name right? Or is it 12242? I want to make sure I pronounce it right. 1224.2 or 12,204.2?
Christmas Eve too.
You're up. Are you there?
I think he's got a shirt on.
Hey, 12242, are you there? We can hear it. I mean, we can kind of hear you. Are you trying to talk? Because we can't hear you now. Are you not trying to talk? You're just trying to turn it off?
Maybe he goes by 26RLB96.
I got your mic for you, buddy. That's what you're trying to do. You didn't know how you hit it? No biggie. If you want to talk, just let me know. I can help you out or raise your hand, whatever. No need to panic.
Maybe they sound like a sock puppet.
No.
Literally.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. How do you know?
Because of the ruffling of fabric?
Oh, no, maybe that was a sign for a Manchurian candidate
I
in
meant
this
like
space.
Mr. Sacco, like fucking a real sock on a hand. Jesus Christ, Shane.
I got
I'm
it.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know.
I thought you meant Mick West writes on Wikipedia sock
See,
puppet.
that's when you know you need a vacation. You should take one day and just run through the Star Wars whole universe and then come back and reset.
Oh, I did. Speaking of Star Wars, though, SDI was actually put up by Reagan to take out NHIs and for us to, fight on the humans with, right? Good point, Star Wars. It's still
You
up
know
there,
who
right?
Max Rebo is?
What?
Do you know who Max Rebo is?
No.
Like,
The Star Wars universe. Never mind.
damn, what?
Are you
Really?
serious?
I'm lost now. You said I thought I was caught up on Star Wars. You said Max. I'm lost. I'm going to look at this now.
So your mind went to Max Rebo when I just said we have satellites in space to shoot craft,
Yo,
human
but
and
Reagan,
alien?
I
You
hate
want to
that,
think
dude.
about Star Wars?
I
Just
like
Google Max Rebo.
Reagan didn't mean aliens, man. I'm dying on that hill.
Oh. Look, I'm going to tell you treaties exist, and I'll tell you no one's told me they exist. That's why I'm going to tell you they exist, because when I've asked multiple times with multiple people, can't talk about national security type stuff.
Yeah, I would only, dude, UFOs are fucking real, man. But so was the fact that they kept it a secret for 8 years that Ronald Reagan couldn't remember anything past 5 minutes and that he needed visual aids to do his daily briefing. And so that's why, like, I like it because it's a cool speech. In the 80s America is like when I was born. But now my true understanding of that is that guy didn't fucking, A, know what the fuck he was talking about, and B, it wasn't about aliens, although there's probably real alien projects going on, and they still built kinetic
Oh, it wasn't
systems.
Reagan, though. He was a puppet because he was sick as hell, right?
It was Nancy Reagan was the real president back then. And I fucking swear to God, it sounds funny. She went everywhere and she said the answers. And William Casey, in fact, the director of the fucking CIA, she would be there with him and Reagan back then. And so, yeah, that was our real. We already had a female president. Her name was Nancy Reagan.
Right on.
I don't buy treaties though. Like we're too greedy. You think they're not gonna like go behind that?
Oh, we will. But first of all, one man's treaty is another man's surrender. When you don't really got an option, you're going to sign a treaty. I'm telling you, I know we have them in some form. I also think they play into, look, we could call it nice, bad, but I just think it's real.
I think
You would have to admit it's real to other countries to have treaties.
Well, we're just the best at bullshitting, bro. I really think now I think they siphon it to America because we're phenomenal about PR and media and literally channeling people's thoughts via like whatever's happening. And so like that's probably like I used to think it was because of our military, which I still do believe as well, but we're also professionals at PR.
The Vescovia Accords.
And yeah, there you go. And check this out. What if, for example, no, you made a point, good point. If there's a treaty, you want it with other countries, right? If you're trying to prevent that, that's what they were doing. So
that's a sock or a person killing somebody or a person rubbing their dick on the mic, but you got to turn off the mic.
Or the CIA interrupting me. They don't want me to talk. I can't talk anymore about
They're
that.
ripping off the cord.
If my tax dollars went there, I'd be upset.
You know,
no, what I was saying, I don't remember what the hell I was saying. So that was a good interruption. Saved my life, probably. You probably saved my life.
You know how you know you're in good company when everybody still stays in your conversation, even though there's a period of silence like lasting greater than 30 seconds.
So
go for it.
I don't remember what the hell I was saying. I just think the treaties are real. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think they're really.
Oh,
I'm big on war theory. Not because I don't like war. I like reading about it, but I don't like that it happens. I just mean like I can't see any way. Like at some point, people are either gonna figure out. Like let's say if hybrid theory is real, at some point people are objectively gonna figure it out, And for like 7 billion people, somebody's going to get upset. Like even 1% of that is a substantial number of people pissed the fuck off that they decided not to ask permission to hybridize. Secondly, if body snatcher theory is real, but I don't mean body snatcher, but like abductions. Like if abductions are real, well, a lot of war law and a lot of human rights law is based on the concept that one life is an atrocity. So the first person you abducted, that's war. Then thirdly, if it
Here's
was
one
to come,
idea.
well, real quick, if it was to come make us peaceful,
Intentionalize taking control of the military back into the people's hands.
what the fuck? That wouldn't even be a solution for aliens either. I'm joking with you, Skywalker.
Everyone putting guns down. No more fighting from across
Oh, that's
borders.
what you meant. Oh, are we doing that now?
Okay, hold up, guys. So real quick, we are gonna.
Did he have his mic on purpose?
Look, my tooth radio's been activated. I gotta go do some mass something, right? So check this out. Retweet the space. What I was actually gonna say is I read, I think it's Bibliotides is on there about the treaties. And to answer your question, the reason we would have taken it, you said other countries, is because we want to get it before they do, because Nazi Germany had them, and we were worried Russia was going to sign one with them, right? We were right in the height of the Cold War. So we wanted to get there first. That's what I read on Bibliotides. That's what I was going to say earlier if the CIA stopped me. I'm sure they thought I was going to say something really crazy, but whatever.
Russia did have a treaty with the Nazis in the beginning. Are you talking about like an alien
No,
treaty?
the aliens. That's what I'm saying. It's like when I said the treaties exist for a reason, and he had said, well, then they'd want to have them with other countries. I think the point of it was they were scared they were going to get a treaty with another country because part of the treaty was tech for this, humans, right? That's the supposed if you go read it. So, and the Nazis had a treaty, so I think they were just scared, and that's what they did. That's my opinion. What's up? What's your name there, Kimball?
You can call me Kimball. Guys, so if you haven't seen the latest episode of Theories of Everything, Kurt Mungel's podcast, go check that out. Tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific time. I think that's 6:30 Eastern time. I'm gonna hold a space just for the first 20 minutes of that interview. I think he covers a lot of really important things for especially people in this space to think about and consider. Just regarding ufology and the skeptics versus the overly credulous believers, and how Jesse Michaels makes decisions. I just think Kurt and Jesse are both really brilliant guys, and I really loved that episode. But I'm going to discuss the first 20 minutes tomorrow under this account. I'll put it in the nest here in a second. But yeah, I was going to do that today, but I really love this space. Olvet, thanks for doing it. And yeah, hopefully I would love some of you guys to come in and chime in tomorrow when I do that space. Thanks, guys.
Right on, man. You got anything you want to say, Red Panda, real quick? We'll get to the last two.
No, just excited for Kimball's space.
Oh, you're leaving.
Yeah, let's hear what he's got to say.
We're gonna go to last two hands. So info and then screen, and then I'll close it out.
Man, I got nothing for a closeout. So good night, people.
All right, night, man. It's good to see you in the space, man. Nice to have you on your 7th count.
It's okay, man. I'll keep doing the mission.
Yeah, right on, brother. Go ahead, screen.
Keep it short. Go check out Red Panda's video with UFOs and the atomic science age. Y'all were talking about the Nazis and them getting the tech or whatever. Their thing was looking for artifacts. When you listen to how they're described like nuclear stuff. And allegedly that's where the U.S. got most of their stuff was this leftover artifact type deals. So
that's the video Jesse cited in his Grush documentary heavily. So Kimball.
And if anybody knows, before I say my piece, where I can get a shot of some NHI Biologics to Superman myself, holla, because I sure could use it. I got my hip replaced. But do me a favor, retweet the space, donate to Wounded Warrior, harass Nora's new account. She really appreciates that, guys. So thank you guys for being here, man. Follow all my speakers and hosts. We do this a lot. We have a good time. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. So retweet.
Fun
Thanks,
space.
guys.
Thanks, Shane. Bye.